Let's go, guys. You want to smoke one of these with me?
No.
Have you?
No.
You're not a cigar guy, huh?
Yeah,
There's nothing, you have to understand, Dave, there's nothing more manly than putting a phallic symbol in your mouth.
It looks like
and
that.
Sucking it dry.
Ew.
Wow.
It is so funny that this is such a manly, considered like a manly thing to smoke cigars. And I have a cigar maybe once or twice a week, but it's.
What if you held it like this?
Oh, yeah. So if you know how
like
to
Mike.
smoke. Solomon.
Easy.
Try not to excite you, buddy. Sorry about that. Dave.
Gio.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
You want to do a podcast?
You know I do. You know I do.
All right, let's do a podcast. Go for it.
Unidentical.
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 All right, that's scary.
Yeah, man.
You guys came in harmony.
Oh, yeah.
Muppet Show tonight.
That was the Muppet
Yeah,
Show.
next time clue me in so I can pull the bass line or something.
Oh, no. He got the bass line. Zun, zun, zun. Welcome back to the place. Not enough of people watching us now. Welcome back to the days for the days. They're supposed to be doing a new Welcome Back Cotter.
No way.
Oh, yeah, but they're going to woke it up.
Welcome back, Connor.
Welcome Back Cotter, right.
So, woke it up, you said?
Yeah, they're going to woke that shit up like they're doing.
Are they really for real?
So it'll fail.
Is that a real thing? Are you making that up?
No, I did hear that they're doing it. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I thought that because there's this new show called Abbott Elementary.
Okay.
And when I saw a preview for Abbott Elementary, they were playing the Welcome Back Cotter theme song, which was by Lovin' Spoonful.
Why were they playing it for that show?
As a school show. And Welcome Back Cotter was like, Mr. Cotter. Remember that?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gabe Kaplan's still around. He still does stand-up on occasion.
Really?
Yeah. You know, he was a stand-up.
I didn't know that.
One of my favorite parts of Welcome Back Cotter was the end when he would tell his wife the bad joke.
Oh, that's
Every
right.
episode ended with him telling his wife a joke.
Dumb joke. Right? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the group of guys?
The Sweat Hogs, baby.
Sweat Hogs.
Sweat Hogs. You had
Horseshack.
You had Vinny Barbarino. Hey,
Epstein.
Get off
Vinny
my
Barbarino
case. Toilet face.
Was John Travolta, and then you had Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein. Hey, up your nose with a rubber hose.
What was the guy's name with the deep voice? Washington.
Oh, yeah, he played Joe Jackson in the movie, the TV movie about the Jacksons. He played.
Oh yeah.
He played the dad. Yeah.
Hmm.
And he's in that.
It's an obscure.
He's in a TV commercial. There, who's that lady? Who's that lady? Where he's like off the bus looking, who's that lady thing? It was him, but it's not a big deal. Anyways,
What's a who's that lady thing?
It's a commercial, and I can't remember. The song is "Who's That Lady?"
Oh,
but I can't
right.
remember the commercial that was using it.
But for real, you saw that somewhere that they're gonna make a.
No, I thought it went in my head because I'm so.
Oh no, because
I'm so annoyed with the wokeness of everything right now. Anyway, so I thought, oh, they're screwing that up now.
they're ruining a lot of things.
Yeah.
Things are getting ruined. Super ruined.
Welcome back to Unidentical. Please continue to rate and review at Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, or wherever it is that you listen or download your podcast. Watch us on YouTube at the Unidentical Pod. They're on the YouTube. And as always, for everything Unidentical, go to unidenticalpod.com. If you want to send us a message or a question or a story, go to unidenticalpod@gmail.com. And on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Ring it.
Welcome back. Ring the notification bell so you know when something new is coming at ya. And don't forget, remember, where's my air horn? I have a... You could also find the link to my 1-hour special, It's Not Me, It's You, on unidenticalpod.com. Now streaming on the Amazon Prime Video application.
Mm-hmm.
Did I skip anything, David Collings?
No, I don't think. Did he do the bell? Yep. You're all good, I think. Yeah. Why are you asking me?
He does the bell, I press the button. That's why.
Yeah.
I love that he asks me.
He's like E.F. Hutton when he pressed that button. I'm a rapper.
Yeah. That rhymed.
Mm-hmm. That rhymed. So I have my cigar here, but I'm not allowed to light it up, am I, Solomon?
Absolutely freaking not.
Is that your rule or the building rule?
Both.
Who does this cigar belong to?
Someone left it here.
You
Put
can't
it that
tell
way.
Jay anything, man.
What
Somebody
who
left
left
it
it here?
I wonder.
And I wonder.
They left that and the ashtray too. Yeah.
This is a cool ashtray. And I would take it.
It takes up a lot of space.
Here's what I love about this ashtray. David, tell me if you agree.
Mhm.
I feel like there's a picture of Dad on it. Look at this.
That one
This-
looks like him. Yeah,
this-
that looks like our dad right there.
Where is it? This looks like my dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is
that's
that
one of the
four?
reasons
So it's
like
not.
the
I
art.
thought there was 4 pictures of the same guy. It's not. They're all different people.
Maybe.
Well, there's a woman in there. But
Oh, okay.
oh, sorry. Were you being woke?
Oh, that's right.
Because everything's
I
everything's
just didn't
equal
look at
now,
it that.
apparently.
I didn't look at it that well.
Yeah. Yep. I'm a little annoyed with everything right now as far as the old woke thing. And I've been going down a rabbit hole on YouTube with all these videos. Go woke and go broke. Because apparently the powers that be in Hollywood think that the politically correct thing to do is soften up everything that they're doing and replace characters with women and diversity, and it's fine. However, they're doing a classic Hollywood thing, which is a overcorrection. They're overcorrecting everything, and these movies, by the way, no one's asking for them. And the proof of that is this.
Okay.
No one's going to see them. They're flopping. Perfect
Right.
example, the Marvels. There's a new Marvels movie
I
out.
just literally tried to watch that.
How did that go?
I got halfway through it. And
The movie.
through the movie. And
Yeah, I got
It was
halfway through it.
incredibly bad. It
Yeah.
was very bad.
I got halfway through the trailer. It looks, and it looks like it's like a made-for-TV, low-budget looking thing, right?
It's like, yeah, it's like a kid's movie for television. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's
what
it
they've
seemed like.
done is they've added more Marvel people, more Captain Marvels.
Well, I don't really follow that too much anymore, but these characters are actual characters from comic books, as far as
that's
I
what
know.
I was thinking too.
You know,
Yeah.
but it when I watched it wasn't the characters that were annoying to me. It was at all actually. It was the rest of it. It was all the rest of it.
What was it?
Bad.
What was bad about it?
There was one part where they ended up at a planet. They end up on a planet and their language is singing, so it's like a musical. Yeah, and then if you remember in one of the, I think it was the Captain Marvel movie where this cat was introduced, and we found out that that's why badass Nick Fury has a scar and an eye patch because his cat.
scratched him.
Well, and this
He's got
cat
cat
has
scratch
these.
fever.
Again, I don't know all the things, but this cat had tentacles that would come out of its mouth, and anyway, in this
See, all
new,
that sounds
listen,
great.
listen, and in this new Marvels movie, there's a thing where this cat species is now like gremlins, and it's multiplying somehow. So now there's a whole after this whole goofy musical scene. Then there was a whole scene where all the 3 Marvel girls and their crew and everybody, including Nick Fury, were all just chasing kittens around the room.
Why would they do that to us?
And that was it. I was gone.
The Marvel.
It was over. I was over.
What is
it.
that I'm looking at?
This is a comic book, The Marvels. I don't know how old this is.
Where's the Marvels on that picture? Are those characters that I'm looking at?
Well,
That's
there's
Captain
I
America.
see Captain America, and I see Iron Man.
See, they're both gone. See, the MCU has done away with them now.
With
those-
who?
Iron Man
And they're replacing them with more women characters, is what
well,
I'm noticing.
the new Captain America is the black guy.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
That goes along with the comic books too. But anyway,
Now, real quick though, did you see that series? Him and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
That was a good. That was a
Oh.
good series.
I
Yeah.
didn't see that one.
That one was really.
and that's how they've carried along a lot of the story now, as they've continued it in these mini series, right?
Yeah.
So
something
whereas-
went wrong.
yeah.
Though. Something happened where they were good, and then all of a sudden,
They got woke.
'Cause
Here's
the-
what
the-
it is. They're
the-
shoving
the-
it down our throats.
right,
They're shoving these women characters down our throats, and we have to watch these women now. And women are the ones that and like that's fucking great if that's it. But it's overcorrection, and nobody's going to. These movies are flopping. They're floundering.
Now-
they're failing.
you say, because I don't follow that stuff. Are all movies having a hard time right now, or is it just those that are flopping?
Well, here's the problem. All movies right now, there's no good movies. There's nothing happening that's good. And then they're shoving this stuff down our throat. Like that Woman King movie.
yeah.
It was called Woman King. By the way, isn't that a queen? Apparently that was supposed to be this big deal. And they were the first, apparently they were the first people to enslave people
Right.
too. but flopped. No one went and watched it. And I think it's because it's like, this is everybody, look, it's a woman doing
They're
this
like-
thing. Women, women, women. Instead of just making the story a good story and saying, here's a story, they're going, blah, and women are stronger than they are trained to be, and blah, 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 whatever. Like the new Snow White movie that's coming out. Holy shit. Have you seen this thing? This woke,
No.
Snow Woke. That's what I call it. Snow Woke is coming out.
What's woke
Rachel
about it?
Zegler. I believe that's her name. Rachel Zegler is playing Snow White, but she's a new Snow White and she's more powerful. And they've done away with the love story. Basically, they've changed the entire story. She doesn't need to be saved by a prince. She's paving her own way. And then it's this whole woke thing, right? And then you hear this stuff about like, in Hollywood, like, women should play women and gays should play gays, and that only these get the real things. It's like, but now the seven dwarves aren't. There's one dwarf, and all the rest are just a diverse band of brothers. I don't know. It's just like they should change it to Snow Woke and her seven interesting friends. And there's this whole thing about these people are like, there's dwarf actors who are kind of pissed about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's a coveted role. Like that's a classic story, by the way. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And they got one dwarf playing a dwarf, and then you got about 6 other people that are other things. Like
What was she doing in it? Why is Gal, what is she?
I hope this is the real trailer.
We're looking at a
it's from
clip.
it is. Gal
We're looking
Gadot's
at
in
it-
it as well.
We're looking at a clip, and
let me make it a little bit.
why is Gal Gadot? Who is she in?
There
it?
she is. Snow White. And she's Latin,
Okay.
which, by the way, that's fine. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I don't,
She's very beautiful. Yeah.
and the thing is with the original story, her name came from her porcelain skin,
Right.
which fine. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And it was a love story. And it was this thing. But they're like, no more love story. She doesn't need a prince. And there's an interview with her, Zegler. Is it Ziegler or Zegler?
I don't know. Probably Zegler.
And she's saying, well, this time she doesn't need a prince. By the way, if you watch the movie from 19, whatever it was, 30, 20 something, she goes, he's basically stalking her. The prince is basically stalking her. And then she looks at the camera and goes, weird.
That is that a snapshot, that kind of freeze
Yes.
frame that's going around of her.
But also, did you watch the movie, you dumb Gen Zer? Because he's not stalking her. It's romantic as shit. He's standing below her window singing a romantic song, and she's at the balcony loving it.
Yeah.
But this Gen Z fucking woke idiot, goes on and to say, oh, he's stalking her, and this is a negative thing. And now she's in danger by this stalking prince. Like, what?
I wonder
If you have all these problems with that story, tell a different fucking story.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It maybe if it was told as just an original story and didn't say anything about being Snow White, it would probably be great. But my thing is, what about? Have you read anything or seen anything about what Disney's reaction is to, like? Because if
Disney's losing.
well, no. Listen, what I'm
billions.
asking is because she's bad mouthing a Disney classic as a
Oh.
Disney.
Okay, so I think they did try to rein her in a little bit. Because
Okay.
if you see her in more recent interviews after that weird shit,
Mm-hmm.
she's almost like behaving herself, but she's got this like air of a teenage daughter who's just rolling her eyes, and I'm just doing this because my parents want me to do it.
I see.
She's got that vibe about her.
Mm.
And
I don't
I'm like,
know enough about
what
her.
happened so hard? What happened so horrible in your life, in your short little life as a Gen Z child,
Mm-hmm.
that makes you so upset at the world and we need to correct everything?
They do want to correct everything.
And it goes back to what I say is there's nothing, they have nothing to complain about, so they're making it up. So that's why you have these trans people going on podcasts and bitching and whining about being misgendered, and I can't believe you bigots would do this to me. And we're just going, we just don't agree that there's more than, because and it goes into the whole gender thing. How many genders are there? How many?
Two.
There's 2 genders. And if you ask anybody that question, they'll go 2. But if you ask a trans person or whatever they are, whatever the letter they are, they'll go, that's a difficult question to answer. And I'm like, no, it's fucking not. It's science. It's fact. But we're not allowed to say that. Like it's what I say when I say everybody gets upset about that female swimmer, you know, and we all have to pretend with her. Oh, okay, we'll pretend she's a man too. Like that's where it starts crossing the line for me. I'm like, no, you do whatever you want, and I don't care.
Right. More
Right?
power to you. Go.
More power to you, but don't make me pretend and make me feel like a jerk because I don't want to, or a bigot
Right.
because I don't want to pretend you don't have nuts that I can see when you're swimming, Leah. I
That's her
can
name.
see your nuts when you do the frog technique, and it's hard to pretend when I can see them. And she's a beast on the platforms when they get their medals. She's just a fucking giant dude,
Yeah.
right? And here's the problem I have with that. I know I'm all over the place right now, but I'm just mad because I've been watching a lot of stuff. They are breaking female athletic records. They're breaking the records as females that are never going to be ever broken again by a female. That, I think, to me, that's
Right.
transphobic. And that's another thing, the phobic thing that everybody says. Oh, you're transphobic. Whenever you put phobia on something, it means you're afraid of it, right? Like I am deathly afraid of spiders. I have arachnophobia because I'm afraid of them. I'm not afraid of trans people at all. I just don't agree with a lot of the stances that some of them are taking with, like, you know, God, somebody on this thing I was watching was asked to list all the genders. I felt like she was just making shit up.
Well, what other one are there? What is
I can't even remember the shit she was saying.
Did she say non-binary?
Don't even know what that means.
Basically means you don't identify as a man or woman.
right? But
Yeah.
what are you though?
That's mental. That's a mental thing. That's fine. That's psychological. That's personality. That is not gender. That's not. And I'm not a scientist. However, I'm pretty sure there's only two genders.
Right.
There's very few cases in the world where they have these. I don't remember what they were called. What are those people called that don't have a sex almost? That they're both.
Oh.
Newt. What? What are they called?
That sounds like the nickname of some little squirrely guy in a movie.
Yeah.
Hey, Newt, come here.
Well,
Uh,
what is it when you cut your dick off?
oh, I know what you're talking about.
Eunuch?
Eunuch.
That's not a.
Yeah, but that's
Right,
not
but
something
no,
they're
but
born with.
there's another thing. It's like they're like very amphibious. I can't remember.
Oh, like they have both sexes is what
Yeah.
you're saying?
They're born with both
Look at
sexes.
your brother.
They can swim real good.
Yeah. It sounds very amphibious the way they describe it.
Oh man.
But there's cases of that, and then you're like, you know, can you know, if you ask them, can you breastfeed a child? So many of these delusional crazies will just go, well, actually, can a woman who had a mastectomy breastfeed a child? No. However, they were biologically built to do that. Doesn't mean it's just because they can't physically do it because of a surgery or a sickness or something like that. They were biologically built to do that thing where you got these fucking people that want to, like, there's so many crazy things. There was a guy, I saw a picture with a gay couple, and the guy was pretending to breastfeed the kid. And it was like this celebrated, look at this beautiful thing. And I'm like, that's great. You know what? That's fine. Have your fun. Have fun. Imagine, have playtime, do your shit. I don't care. But when it starts bleeding into, you have to believe this too, and you have to agree with me.
Right.
No, I fucking don't.
Okay, well let's define that. When you say you have to agree with me,
In other
obviously the talk about, you know, the competition in sports, and I tend to agree that I think men and women should have separate sports like they always have, unless it's something that doesn't involve strength and, you know, the obvious qualities of men over women.
Right.
But what other examples are we talking
I like
about?
these qualities.
I know. I was gonna.
Anyway, I just wanted to better define when you say that.
Well, here's what I say. I don't want to be considered a bad guy or a bigot if I quote unquote misgender you.
Right.
Well, if I say, sir, and you're like, do not call me, you have a mustache. You know, you're a big fella, and you still don't want me to call you sir. You want me to call you ma'am?
Okay, I
Like,
can understand that.
Correct me, sure. And I'll just go, okay, ma'am. And then I'll think you're a weirdo. What I'm saying is I'm not a bigot because of that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't make me this thing that I'm not because I can't figure out what you're doing. Because I'm sorry, half of them can't even figure out what they're doing themselves. One day, like what's that, Sam Smith, that singer?
Yeah.
Gay. Then then he's something else, trans, and then he's been identifying as different things, and it's been progressing, which is fine. But like to get angry when we can't keep up,
Right.
that's
See, I don't watch enough of these things. I don't see any.
yeah, I know. And here's the thing with me, I'm on stage in front of audiences, and I see what offends people, and I see,
Gotcha.
like for example, when I started talking about Leah Thomas, this guy got so upset in the audience.
Oh, you did that in a bit?
Oh yeah, I'll hold back, bruh.
He flipped you off from the audience because of this?
And I couldn't see that because
Where
I had
was this?
spotlights. It was at the Ha Ha Comedy Club. And he's like, yeah, but she's a great swimmer. I'm like, not really. Because as a male competitor, she wasn't that great. She's like, not great. Wouldn't even remember her name. But the only reason we know this champion is because she's out swimming girls, which is fucked up. And then you get it in, then you go into the MMA world. You put a man in there with a woman.
Oh,
Oof.
I've seen some of those videos.
Those are bad. I don't
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Those are so fun to watch. And I went down a rabbit hole of girls thinking that they're equal to men physically. It's just a mess on YouTube. These women that want to fight men, they just get pummeled. Just pummeled. Like the U.S. women's team, soccer team, for example.
Mm.
They had a game that they played against a high school boys team.
Yeah.
They got mopped. These boys ran all over the gold medal champion women's soccer team. Just got beat by high school boys. Like and some of the kids were even younger than high school, apparently, from what I understand. But yeah. So this whole thing, and here's the thing. Most of us get it. Because I travel a lot too. And when you're in the country doing stuff, you realize what people actually really think and care about. And most people, not only they don't care, they're like, why do I need to talk about that? It's not my world, kind of a thing. What happens is that Hollywood and the media makes it look like everybody cares when they don't fucking care.
Okay. Yes. See, I'm
Yeah.
spoiled. I'm kind of over here in this comfort zone all the time. I don't see
They
middle.
don't care, man. They don't care.
Okay.
And
Here's-
I can see that, being that so much of Hollywood is in California, and California's a pretty progressive state.
Unbelievable.
You know, and I think a lot of Californians do that. They assume that the rest of the world or the rest of the country is like California, and it isn't.
Yeah.
You know?
And their reality is getting so fucked up because they're told what to believe by their media. They're told what to believe by their social media. They're told that these things you're saying are, ooh, you can't say that. Which, by the way, I've said this before 100 times. I can say whatever I want. There are so many things I shouldn't say, but I could, but I can. And I keep it pretty, pretty even keeled. I don't go nuts on stage. You're never going to see a YouTube video of me freaking out on stage, calling them like dykes and stuff, but which has happened.
Yeah, we've had all those tapes destroyed.
Yeah, we've had all those tapes destroyed. But like,
Except for this one, evidently.
I'll do a show. Let's say I do a show in Arizona, Tempe, Arizona. Arizona's a bad example. Let's see, like Midwest or wherever.
Okay.
And I'll talk about these things, and it's funny. And then I'll hang out with people after the show that are gay, that are trans, and they were like, "That was pretty funny," because you're making fun of it. You're not shitting on it. I'm not like, you fucking idiots. I just think it's my. Also, when I say, I have a bit on stage where I say, I don't understand when people, when people come up to me and say, "Hey, don't you dare misgender me," I say, well, then don't look confusing. That's not about them. It's about about me.
That's what
I'm
was going to say.
confused.
What I noticed with your style is what you're really making fun of. You're really making fun of
my
your
ignorance,
perception of it all.
my perception, my ignorance. But there are certain things though that I'm just not going to believe. Everybody's lying so much with this woke stuff. Like we're all supposed to believe that Lizzo's so fucking beautiful. My buddy Jeff Dye has the greatest joke, and he's reposted it a few times. If Lizzo is so beautiful, then why do you get mad if I tell you look like Lizzo?
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Funny.
It's true. And it's always the leader of the pack, the leader of these brigades is always white women. Not white people, white women. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. How many times did we see that growing up?
Oh,
Oh my God, your hair looks so pretty. And in my head, I'm like, you don't really think that. And by the way, if you don't, that's okay. And I'm sorry, Lizzo, if you look at her face, she's gorgeous, beautiful. However, the big thing isn't to me, not because I don't find it attractive, which I don't, but I also think it's promoting an unhealthy lifestyle. It's promoting being overweight, overeating, suffocating your heart, diabetes, joint problems. There's nothing healthy about it
Now,
at all.
recently though, they found recently in health studies though that these are they're not overindulging themselves. A lot of these people aren't just like, oh, would you stop eating or have more self-control. That whole thing. They found recently that it's a chemical imbalance in them.
For some people, like a thyroid thing or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying
But
is
also it's
not all of them are, not every, a lot of people can't help it. You know what I'm saying? There are people that can't, There are.
oh, no.
But I mean, I'm not saying there are gluttonous people out there who
Yeah.
are overdoing. I'm not saying
They're
that doesn't
all-
exist. But
Oh, fact.
there are a lot of folks that,
Listen,
it's something they can't control.
anybody that I know that's overweight, it's because, and they know it. They're like, I just gotta fucking chill out on eating. That's how I got overweight. I got overweight because I was not only eating too much, eating horrible shit. And that's where it comes into it's a mental thing, I know. Like depression, I eat my stress. I'm one of those guys that I eat my depression and I eat my stress. And I think you're the opposite.
Right.
You starve yourself when you're upset.
Yeah.
So cheer up. But
I'm good.
Lizzo, but promoting it and putting it on magazines and saying, look, everyone, and Victoria's Secret having all the posters of the big girls on the thing. It's like, how about we promote healthy living? How about we say, yo, because they're upset because I don't see people on these posters that look like me. It used to be that you looked at the models, and I'm talking guy models too, and you were like, you wanted to be that. You know what? I can be that. I want to get to that. I want to get in that shape. Now everybody's so fucking soft.
Lazy.
They're like, why are you showing that? Show me instead. I'm a big, lazy person that doesn't want to exercise. Promote me. Hey, bring the comments on. Bring on the hate. This is my opinion, and this is an opinion piece. But hey, put the fork down. Get a gym membership. And if you have a chemical thing, get the medication. Because I know that there are some. I can't remember. There is a thing where you could. It's like a gland thing or something. You ever heard of this?
You'd have to explain more.
Okay, so there's a. I don't believe it. That's why I'm having a hard time explaining it.
A gland thing?
Well, there's a glandular thing that if you have this specific gland issue that you could just gain weight without eating, which I don't know if that's true.
No. It's not like you magically. No, what that is affecting your, like the mind's receptors of hunger. Like you're not getting those messages the normal way that you should.
So it's mental. It's not physical.
Right.
Got it. I knew it.
Right.
Because you made it sound for a second like they physically can't help it.
No, not physically. It's a thing. It's like a chemical in their brain. I should have said brain. Sorry, but yeah, that's
The only thing I'll add is to your point on the media. At one point, also, it was a lot where they were putting out these unrealistic body images over and over, and it did become a point of issue with younger women and people feeling like they could never achieve.
What made
that.
it unrealistic?
So my point is this, though. It went extreme in one direction, and now because what you're talking about is going extreme in the other direction.
Overcorrecting.
Right. So that's what I mean. So it was unhealthy to begin with. They went extreme one way, and so now it's
Now I
rebounding
agree
back.
with the skin and bones. You could see their shoulder bones coming out, and like what?
Oh, you're saying you agree that that's bad. I thought you were going to make
Yeah,
a joke.
it's bad. I believe that malnourished isn't healthy either. But there's a healthy body type out there that's very active, very fit. And there's this thing that I love that they didn't. It wasn't a thing. Remember when we were kids? It was you had to be skinny and skinny and skinny.
Yeah.
And no ass. Now asses are back in, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta get that big ass on that big ass girl.
Real or
But
not.
and that's healthy to me. You got abs and you got snacks. Abs and snacks. And when I say snacks, I mean that booty.
Abs and snacks. Abs and snacks.
We got them abs and snacks. But yeah, I agree. There was a time when those rail thin, like gaunt looking,
or guys, just overly muscled guys that most people could not attain.
and if the muscles were gained in a natural way, and you're not, Johnny steroids, that's to me that is realistic. Like,
Well,
when I see fit people, I'm like that is a realistic thing because they're doing it. They're not AI. They're not drawings. They worked on it.
no, they're not
It's not
drawings,
all
but
the
at the same
extremes.
time, they don't do anything else. They're in the gym 3 times a day,
Dude, look at me.
and they don't eat and all of that stuff.
Look at me.
Don't make
Yeah.
us look at you.
I have abs. You just can't see them through my tummy. But yeah, this woke stuff, and we're being told what we should be appreciative of, and it's annoying the crap out of me. But the pendulum's swinging, and I know it is because there's so much online that's anti that now. That's like, come on, guys, we've gone too far.
I just hate that they just put it all in a category because I mean, even the term woke was never meant to be that.
No.
And I feel
Woke-
bad that it's taken on this
negative thing.
negative connotation.
Because
it's not that.
when I first started hearing the term woke, I liked it because it's like, oh, you woke up to that. You're awake to that reality now.
right.
You know, so
Right.
you're woke. But now it's like a way of life thing. It's like, no, what? And it's all white ladies with pink hair. It's all white women with pink hair. They don't really care. It's all white ladies with the pink hair. But if you ask these girls the questions, how many genders are there? You ask them on the line, they're just like, oh my God, that's such a hard question. Well, no, it shouldn't be. Because there's only 2.
Me too.
That's my 2 cents. Sorry, I had more to say, but
1 cent per gender.
I get.
All right. So
um,
what's that big black thing up there at the top of the TV?
You mean
Oh.
when it was the split screen? That was your pick?
Yeah,
Oh,
see, that was a nice
I was
segue.
gonna
You
say,
like
that was
huh?
you. Oh, and you don't know what you look like? Jason's a bigot again. That is
Jason's race.
That's a skateboard deck that I got made here for the Unidentical podcast studio that I love. I'm going to get more made.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I'm going to have a couple other different ones with logos and stuff. And then, eventually they will be available on our website to purchase.
I think we need a video of you guys using them skating.
I'll end
It's
up in
gonna
the
be-
hospital.
yeah, it'll be
That's why it
short.
doesn't have wheels.
Short video. Well, it'll be a long video depending on how long the ambulance ride is. That's not going to be.
Dude, I was never in a skateboard. I could skateboard as far as like getting from A to B,
Yeah.
like using it as a form of transportation.
Yeah.
We did that as all the time as kids, but it was when it came to like the tricks and the ollies and the jollies and the kick flips and the
What now?
ollie jolly kick flips down the rails
Ollies,
of the
jollies.
grindings. Yeah, I couldn't do that. You know what's a trip though? Is it was back in when we were kids, you wanted to keep your skateboard pristine. They had rails. Remember they had the rail guards on them and the nose guard and the tail guard so you wouldn't scrape up the picture on the bottom. Dude, when my kids started skateboarding, it was like a point of pride to have a jacked up and I remember my kids wanting these skateboards. There was this brand name called Girl.
Mhm.
Back to that again.
Still
Just
is.
kidding.
It's still there.
And this was a cool skateboard company, right? And my sons wanted these decks. And I was like having the hardest time coming to terms with spending all that money, knowing day one they were going to do freaking rail grinds and curb bullshit and scratch the whole thing up. And I'm like, why don't we just get a used one? Let's get a used one. But we went through a lot of skateboard decks. But this one, we'll not be riding it. It'll just be displayed.
Yeah.
That's because you're leaving it in the studio.
Displayed. You see how I did that? I should have been on The Price is Right.
Yeah. You look good when you do that.
I was watching this documentary thing. You just reminded me of this Price is Right. This young lady, I can't remember her name. I'm so bad at that. Anyways, she was a sex therapist,
Okay.
and she ended up she was engaged to Drew Carey,
Okay.
Drew Carey's girlfriend, and then they broke up, and then they were going to get back together. She ends up dead, murdered in his apartment.
This is real.
Hmm?
Oh, cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sorry, Drew, not cool, but
Cool.
the
She's
show
dead.
sounds.
Fuck yeah, you murdered her. But
Amy
Oh.
Harwick.
Yes,
Okay.
Amy Harwick. She's beautiful, beautiful girl, and a sex therapist too. And whenever I needed sex therapy, I would just watch her and then mute it and then just jerk it. I'm just
I
kidding.
was going to say, whenever you needed sex therapy.
She's the best one.
Who needs?
She made me finish. I'm just kidding. She dated a comic. named Gareth something.
She's already got it.
And this guy was terrible. And he goes on Kill Tony and just bombs, and he's just bad. And I'm halfway through the documentary thing about it, but I think what's going to happen is that we're going to find out that that guy killed her, because as think about it as a failed comedian, and this girl's, she's beautiful, and then she dumps you, and then ends up with like a fucking mega rich, very successful comedian, you know?
Right.
And apparently she was, her and Drew Carey broke up because there was a lot of hate online because people were calling her a gold digger. And the only reason, what do they have in common? Oh, that's right, he's rich. Like they were putting that on her. When what they don't realize is that she showed up to an event and got stood up. And Drew Carey was there. He's like, wait, she was like, I got stood up. He goes, that's weird. How about, can I take you to dinner tomorrow night? She's like, yeah. And she's obviously liked humor because she did. And but I think I'm halfway through this thing, and I think we're gonna find out that can you Google it? Who murdered her?
Why? Don't spoil it.
Man, people see my Google history. This is gonna be crazy.
Just blame it on me.
Google in these
Yeah.
podcasts.
Just blame it on Jason Collins.
Yeah.
Chris Rock showed up to the Comedy Store last night.
You know. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Did he do a set?
No, just came to hang. It was pretty
so it's
awesome.
Gareth.
Yep, Gareth did it. I knew it.
So I think you just spoiled something for somebody.
Seriously?
Well, it's an
Well,
old
for
series.
me-
It's an old series. It's been out for a
okay,
while. It's
okay.
called Death by Fame,
Oh yeah.
and it's episodic, and
Oh,
she's just
okay.
one of the episodes. And it's
Okay.
But anyways,
You know what I binged? Oh, sorry, Chris Rock.
Chris Rock showed up at the Comedy Store last night. I just love it so much. See, Chris Rock is one of my favorite comedians, not just comedically, but just as a guy. Like I think his outlook on everything's so cool, and I just think he's just so great. And one of the things he has that documentary series on HBO with Kevin Hart, where they are on tour together, but it doesn't show the shows. It's everything behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Headliners only.
Headliners only. That's what it's called. And there's a scene in there where they're done at the club, and Chris starts walking home, and Kevin's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm going home." He's like, Chris was like, "Get the cameras out of here. I don't want him to know where I live." But he just like walks home by himself. So pimp. Last night he shows up at the Comedy Store alone, no entourage, just walks in. Hey guys, sits in the back of the room for a while, hanging out, getting the vibe. I ask, I immediately I go, I guess I'm getting bumped. And for those of you who aren't in stand-up, that means that when a bigger name shows up, sometimes they'll bump the lineup to put him in a slot. And somebody said, he's not going up, he's just hanging out. I was like, that's awesome. So then he leaves and he walks out, and I'm standing out having a cigar. I go, hey man, what's up? And he goes, hey, how you doing? And I'm watching it, and he just walks out onto Sunset, not into the middle of the street, onto the sidewalk. He's not that crazy. And then just takes a left and starts just walking by himself down Sunset in Hollywood. Chris Rock,
Yeah.
slap heard around the world. What was the name of his special? Bigger and Blacker?
I think.
I'm looking at the black guy.
I'm looking at Google.
Don't you guys
I
all,
don't know.
Don't you guys all discuss these things? But yeah, I thought that was really cool to just be a comic, just hang out.
Yeah.
I love it when you find out the big guys are still that way, because like when I met Jay Leno on the show, when I did the Tonight Show, how he came in and was just so comic to comic.
Right.
And when he said, "Yeah, did you show Jason?" Oh, what the
Yeah,
producer says,
yeah.
"Did you show Jason his spot?" And he said, "I'll show him."
Yeah. You said this on the last app with Derek. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just kind of hung out.
Mhm.
And all he wanted to talk about was comedy. I'm like, this is awesome. You could tell the guys that are just through and through stand-up comics. Jerry Seinfeld's one of those. He's like, I'm a comedian who happened to act once in a while, you know.
Right.
Bill Burr's that way to me, all these guys.
Selective outrage is what I see.
That's Selective Outrage is his latest one, I think.
Okay.
Bigger and something, Bigger and Deafer, Bigger, I don't remember.
Yeah. Was it his or was he just part of it?
HBO, it was a hip HBO special, Chris Rock. I remember because the producer and I became friends, and she was talking to me about working with me when I was a pretty new comic. Then she changed jobs, and that's how it works, kids. This business forgets you. Short memory, this business. This business has amnesia constantly.
Yeah.
Would you say comedy is a career where you can't really be aged out?
For men.
Okay, that's fair.
And I'm saying that, and I know that I don't agree with women very often. By the way, we're going to change the name of this podcast to the He-Man Woman Haters Club. I'm just kidding. No, women do age out And it's because now, especially nowadays, because a lot of people use stand-up comedy as a platform to acting.
Mm.
And unfortunately, actors age out, women. But men, no, I don't think so. You think about the guys out there, they're the biggest comics out there right now. You know, they're all in their 50s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bill Burr's in his 50s. Joe Coy's in his 50s. Russell Peters is in his 50s. Sebastian Maniscalco is in his 50s. These guys are all arena-level comedians. And I think in stand-up, because it takes some time to get a voice. It takes a little time to get a voice, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still working on my voice. I'm 53 years old. I mean, I'm comfortable in my skin and I know who I am when I'm on stage, but you know, most comics have imposter syndrome too, though. Like,
what's the
they're
biggest
on to me.
female comedian that you know?
Eliza Schlesinger's pretty big. Let's see.
When you say no, you mean no personally?
No, I meant like ever. Like when you think about female comics, what's the best ever?
Big names in female comics, you got, you know, Amy Schumer.
Okay.
You got Eliza Schlesinger. You got Wanda Sykes, who's amazing. You've got, there's some big names, but, you know, not as many as men.
Right.
And the argument could be that there's more male comics, which, sure.
Or it's the same argument in lots of different careers that, you know, they're just more men than women.
But I don't,
successful for whatever reason.
I don't think I can age out. And here's why, because when I started comedy, I thought I was too old and I was only 35.
Mm.
And I look at old videos of me, because I do that all the time when I'm alone. I go and search videos of myself and a little bottle of lotion and no, just kidding. But from day one, I thought I'm too old to be doing this. All these guys that started a lot of those guys that I mentioned that are in their 50s, by the way, started at like 19, 20, 18. You know, they all started young, and I didn't. I started at 35 years old. So, but I haven't aged out, I don't think. But now you got this whole new crop coming up from TikTok and all that. Like you could say, who are the big comics out right now? Well, arguably one of the biggest comics out there right now is 28 years old, and that's Matt Rife. Matt Rife just did Radio City Music Hall. Matt Rife is killing it. He set a record at the Chicago Theater. He's killing it right now. But that's this new thing that's happening where people are finding their comedians online.
So he's born on TikTok, this guy?
Yeah. Well, his career was.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
He started legitimately as a legit comic. He's not a newbie that just got lucky at all. This kid started doing stand-up at like 14 years old. I remember him standing outside of the Laugh Factory waiting for his set because he wasn't old enough to be in the room.
Mm.
So he would have to stay outside until it was his time to go on stage, and then get on stage and then go right back outside because he wasn't allowed to be in the club. He wasn't old enough. So I'm not taking anything away from his journey as a comic. However, his success popped because of TikTok.
Mm. And
I like that it popped for him that way because, you know, like I said, he's a legit comic, and when he's on stage, he's gonna fucking deliver. He's just gonna. And it might not be for everybody, but he has that muscle. He could give you an hour, and he can give you material. I mean, his Netflix special, oh God, the way he ended it. Did you guys see that?
No.
So people were clowning him about being you're only good for crowd work, like talking to the audience. He does this Netflix special. And this to me, I love this kid so much, but this to me showed his age a little bit. At the end of the special, he looks at the camera and goes, and I can only do crowd work, and drops the mic and walks off stage.
I don't know. Watch all the. You would think that I would watch all these.
I wouldn't think that.
I literally haven't seen any of these people.
But let me ask you this: do you have interest in it?
No,
because you're in it. It's crazy.
But I like that guy in person. He's a great guy.
That's a sweetheart. Here's what it is with you, and it's a weird dynamic with you because you are not a stand-up comic. However, you have been entrenched in the world of stand-up comedy for as long as I have. Because I always wanted you around. I wanted you there for support. I mean, you were there. He was the only one I would bring to shows with.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't want my wife to see. I didn't want my parents to see. I didn't want any of my friends that I grew up with to see. Yeah. But I needed my brother there for to hold his arm and be like, everything's going to be okay. Right. Yeah, he's literally been there the whole time. So you've seen and watched just as much bad comedy and just as much great comedy that I have. So it's like martial arts. When we were in the martial arts business, the last thing you wanted to do when you got off work was go do something that involved martial arts.
And and anytime you were at a gathering, that's all anybody would want to talk to me about. And I'm like, dude, I just did this all week. I don't want to talk about.
Yeah. I don't want to watch the UFC. I don't want to know. And it's crazy because now that I'm, 2013. So I'm 11 years out of martial arts.
Okay.
I've just gotten back into UFC. Now to me, it's a fun thing to watch.
Okay.
Because it's not my business.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not what I do for a
But
living.
it's like you were saying with the comedy too, though. I guess that's why, honestly, when Becca and I will be trying to just see what we're going to watch, and she'll come across a stand-up special and be like, oh, I want to watch this. And I'm just like, oh, no.
Hell no.
And you know,
and then she always asks, oh, you know this? You know who that is? And I'm like, no, but I just don't want to watch stand-up.
but you know exactly what they're going to talk about.
Yeah,
It's pretty fucking predictable.
Right.
And I'm sorry, most of the stuff out there now it's terrible.
Yeah.
People are doing it too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's doing this thing, and a lot of
Now, are we talking about stand-up or are we talking about comedy in general?
stand-up comedy.
Stand-up.
I'm going to say something that a lot of
Just say
a
it.
lot of female comics are doing this.
Okay.
And I'm looking at you and I'm saying, keep working on the craft, but stop doing this thing. They're putting clips of their stand-up on their socials, and it's terrible. It's open micer level shit that's not worked out, that's not funny, but they're just like, it's this new attitude of content.
Right. See, now I'm wondering if that
content. I need to have content on. So now, but you're feeding horrible content to the masses, and that's why people's taste in comedy is getting worse because they don't know any better. It's not like they have bad taste; they just don't have anything to like.
Well, that's what I mean. How you and I don't understand social media, basically. I feel like I don't. What if
I do in a way, but
what if them putting that stuff on there is what they're supposed to do to get the fall? Even though it sucks, it's just something.
Here's the thing. The hardest thing to do in comedy before social media was to get a following, to gain a fan base. Now that's probably the easiest part.
Well, but let's really think about that, because I'll tell you, one of the things I was talking to another podcaster about, a lot of people say, okay, let's take our podcast and let's cut it into clips and let's put it on Instagram and TikTok and everything. And then from there, people go from there and they'll watch our YouTube format. And what I challenged them is, I said, think of it as two different audiences, because when you're doing this, when you're flipping your thing like this, they're not thinking, let me now stop and then go to YouTube. So,
Exactly, yeah.
So what I'm presenting is that there are two different audiences. And it could be, to David's point, that comedy is appropriate for the audience of TikTok because it's quick, it's easy, it's quick jokes, things like that, that don't necessarily survive in a longer format.
However, the only way, one of the very best ways and only way to really make some good money in stand-up comic is touring. So now they have to go to a club and they have to sell a ticket for not a little bit amount of money.
Sure.
Tickets are pretty expensive these days. And they're filling these rooms. And now they have to have at least 45 minutes of a show to give these people, and they don't have it. Perfect example. My buddy Steven, he got huge on TikTok. I think he's got over 20 million followers and subscribers across his platform.
Wow.
This guy blew up during the pandemic. He's a nurse, and he would tell these funny nurse stories that were great.
Yeah.
Stories like nightmares in the ER, that kind of shit. Blew up on TikTok. And I guess he's always wanted to do stand-up. I could be wrong. But now he's doing stand-up. But not only is he doing stand-up, his introduction to stand-up is he's a touring comic right now. And he's selling rooms out. And he did the Irvine Improv. Recently, he did Irvine Improv. He hits me up. He says, Jason, you want to do my show at Irvine? I said, yeah, no problem. Pay me pretty decently, And I go, sure, I'll go out there and do that. And I was, one of the opening acts. And we're there. We get there. I get there. And they're all there. And the place is sold out. And if you know anything about the newer Irvine Improv, it's a very large room. It's not a small comedy club. It's almost a theater. It's a big room. 500 seats, I think. Or maybe more. And it's sold out because they know who this kid is. He's working on his branding, and I got to give it up to him. Hard worker. He knows where he's at skill-wise. He's not delusional in any way. But we get there, and then we're talking, and I go, this crowd looks amazing, man. This is going to be a fun show. And he goes, Yeah, I hope it goes better than last night. I go, what, did you have low ticket sales last night? He goes, oh, no, it was sold out. I go, what happened? He goes, oh, I bombed.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I thought, you bombed at your own show where people bought tickets to see you.
That's not
It's
good.
because he's not ready. And I feel bad. I'm not angry at him about this. I honestly feel bad about this because he's got to catch up to his career.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, he needs to catch up to where he's at career-wise. Because the hard part's out of the way. He's got a fucking fan base. And it's not just local. He's nationally headlining.
Oh, yeah.
Very good rooms. And he's bombing because he's not ready. And he told me why. He goes, well, this one joke didn't work, and I kind of blamed it on the audience, and it went downhill from there. And I'm like, that's comedy 101. That's shit you learn when you're in the trenches, when you're at the mics, when you're at the shitty shows, when you're at the bar shows, the bowling alley shows. These are the things you learn as you're coming up. And he's doing it as a famous headliner. Man. That's the pressure's got to be insane.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't put genies back in bottles.
No,
you know,
these
opportunities are created for people, and you know,
a very close friend of ours, Melissa Villasenor. She's now a SNL alum. She did a few seasons on SNL. When she first started coming up,
she's no longer in SNL.
Huh?
She's no longer on SNL.
She's not in SNL anymore.
Oh, no
she's
kidding.
back in LA.
Okay.
But, you know, she did, 3 seasons or 4 seasons or something?
I think 5.
Great.
Yeah.
But, you know, when she first popped before SNL, it's because she did, I believe it was America's Got Talent or The X Factor or one of those, and she's incredible at these impressions. She could do Christina Aguilera, and she's an amazing singer, Christina Aguilera. Melissa can do that. Melissa could do J-Lo, and she's really good at these impressions.
Wanda Sykes.
She just Wanda Sykes is great. And she has this representation that says we're going on the road. And he all of a sudden puts her on a headlining tour. And she was so depressed. And she had such a hard time because she's out there headlining all over the country and she wasn't fucking ready.
Oh, wow.
You know? So then I see her at the Improv and she's doing jokes. And my buddy and I, Brent, were like, where were the impressions? I don't want to do those anymore. I go, that's your fucking bread and butter. What are you talking about? Gets back on the impressions. Boom, she's on SNL. I'm not saying it was because of us, but you know, you have your bread and butter.
Right.
And then she had all that time at SNL and then doing stand-up, and now she's ready.
And I don't think she did impressions on SNL, though.
She did Christina.
Oh,
she would do Christina Aguilera, and she would do J-Lo. But one of my favorite was her and Selena Gomez doing those 2 cholas.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That's sad.
That's sad. It was so funny. But yeah, you got to be ready, man. And you got to be ready and you got to be woke, apparently. That's what my new special is going to be called. I'm going to call my new special Woke and Ready. And it's not going to be funny and it's going to be 15 minutes long. Anything else, David Collins?
No, man.
You want to fucking Russell?
Ow. No.
How's your body?
Ow.
How's your body?
I'll kill you.
That's the thing that twins get asked. Who can win in a fight? And I always go, that's fucking David. All right, you guys. Let's light one up soon. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry about the ranting, but I'm not. But this is what I do. That's why we do the podcast, because I just want to talk about shit with my brother and my friend Solomon. Super producer, solo man. That's what I call you.
Thank you.
Don't forget that every episode of this podcast is shot here in the city of Long Beach at the Podcast Place. Do you want a quality podcast? Do it here at the Podcast Place. There'll be information in the notes. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on the YouTube. Make sure you rate and review everywhere you download. It helps with everything. Unidenticalpod.com for merch. Merch is out there and merch is ready. We got some stuff coming. I know that we had a few technical issues in the past. All that shit is handled. We got a great company that we're working with. Stuff is on its way. So go ahead and get on there and order your stuff. We got Chill Hot Man. We got stuff from the special. We got some of my brother's original artwork on some stuff there. And of course, everything Unidentical Pod you can get there. And I think that's it. So
Should do her. I should do it.
I should do it. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Unidentical.